Bison is undefeated. Is
Yo, it is May 12th, 2022. You already know the vibes. Let's go, Mets. Yo, what is going on, everybody? You already know it's your boy, Rompe, and welcome to Mets Life. Because you know when it comes to the Mets, it's for life. So the Mets just won another series today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about who did they think this series and, you know, again, who we're going to hold accountable. We're going to talk about who we held accountable for this series. We're going to talk about the Mets' upcoming schedule. Talk about everybody's favorite topic, comparing them to the Yankees start. Both New York teams off to good, hot starts. So we're going to talk about that. Compare and contrast, you already know. And then we're going to get into everything else. Mets, Robinson Cano might be signing with the Padres, so we're going to talk about that as well. So again, if you guys are coming in from the TikTok, thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming here. Don't forget to follow, subscribe. If you guys are coming from the Twitter, again, same thing. Facebook, same thing. All the socials. Thank you guys for stopping by. Instagram, all of that. Thank you guys for stopping by. You already know we about to go off. So we're going to start with this series. The Mets win this series 2 out of 3 games. They won the first game. They lost yesterday. It was a bad loss. We'll talk about that as well. And they won this afternoon's game. So that is very good. Very good. They keep the record of winning series at 9-0-1. So we can all, as Mets fans, appreciate that, especially after yesterday's loss. Yesterday's loss was very, very bittersweet because of the way it started. If the Mets, would have had a 1-2-3 inning in the first, and then the Nationals would have jumped out in that fashion, it would have been disappointing, but it would have been a different kind of disappointing, right? It would not have hurt as much as if, they didn't have a 3-run lead, and, so it's a little different. It feels a little bit different when you have a 3-run lead and your pitcher doesn't have it. So that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow altogether. So, we're not even going to sit here and pretend like the loss itself doesn't bother. It does. But it bothers more because we had a 3-run lead, and, when you looking for your pitcher who has been successful, was successful on opening day against the same exact team, you figured that they would have the same continued success against this team rather than the performance that you saw yesterday. So that's why it was a little bit more disappointing. That's why it was more disappointing than if they didn't have that lead going into the bottom of the first, right? So, moving on from that, they won this afternoon's game. Mark Hanna went off with the bat. If it wasn't for the performance that Taijuan Walker had, Mark Hanna would have been the player of the game. But for me, the player of the game for this game, without a shadow of a doubt, the player of the game for this game goes to Taijuan Walker. Big round of applause for Taijuan Walker, because he didn't look good, as physically. He looked like he was going through the motions. He looked like he was kind of going through it today, but he battled. He battled through, gave the Mets 7 strong innings, and you couldn't ask for anything else. Seth Lugo comes in, does his thing, strikes out 2. Also, you had Edwin Diaz come in for the save, his 8th save of the season. And he gave up a home run. But that home run, we're going to talk about the home run he gave up to Juan Soto in a minute. It's Juan Soto. So, it's Juan Soto with the bases empty, 2 outs. Yeah, you don't want that to spark kind of a comeback for the Nationals. But good. It's just been the story of this team the entire season is fighting through adversity. The way this team has responded after something negative it has been my favorite part of the identity of this team. Right? Every single thing that's gone wrong, a bad start, getting hit by pitches, benches clearing, comeback wins, all this team just shows that it can fight through anything. And even yesterday's game, where they were down 8-3, in my mind, I'm just like, listen, a 2-run shot makes it a 3-run game. And teams, good teams. Not saying that the Mets is not a good team, but teams that are like, when a team is meant to win the game, you see them chip away in that fashion, right? 2-run home run or solo home run, or they start just scoring inning here, inning there, start getting back into the game. That wasn't the case. Both bullpens yesterday for the Mets and the Nationals was phenomenal. And talking about this Mets bullpen, because I talked about it in last stream, right? I said, listen, if the trade deadline was today, the Mets will be going for a bullpen piece, right? I still think that today, right? A strong bullpen along with great starting pitching is a recipe for success and winning a championship. Ask the Washington Nationals in 2019. Right? And they had a bad bullpen that entire year, but when you throw Patrick Corbin in that bullpen, it's different, right? It's a completely different story when you have some starting pitchers coming out of the bullpen to, kind of strengthen that in the postseason, which is why I love the kind of depth that the Mets have at the starting pitching position, right? Because going into a postseason, and if you have DeGrom strong, Scherzer strong, Bassett strong, Miguel, no, now we're not even going to go Miguel or Walker. We're going to go Carrasco strong. Give me healthy DeGrom, healthy Scherzer, healthy Bassett, healthy Carrasco, because those are the guys with postseason experience. Yes, give me that. I'll take that. And you have a Walker coming out the bullpen, a Miguel coming out the bullpen if you need them for length. If you see that the game is like, oh, we got to get someone in there. And I'm pretty sure Buck and Billy would manage that perfectly. But that's the kind of depth you want, especially with the guys that we already have. But despite, right, Trevor May wasn't feeling good. Things weren't going right for him at all. Even spring training got there late because of flights. So he got hurt. Now he's on the injured list and, had the funny bone injury. And now he's just going to get better and then come back and, help the team any way he can. But, even with the spots where the Mets were losing, right? You look at the Bassett game against San Francisco. You look at the Carrasco game against the Cardinals. You look at the Taijuan Walker game against the Phillies. You look at the Miguel game recently against the Nationals. Every one of those games, right? Those are the games that I can point out at the top of my head, 4 games out of 11 losses where the starting pitching kind of just failed, right? You could even say the Max Scherzer start against the Nationals where he gave up 3 home runs, right? Two to Schwarber and 1 to Harper. Even that game, the Mets responded well every single time. So, the bullpen has been solid. I don't care what nobody says. I understand, what happened with Ottavino, in that game after the no-hitter, in the game against the Braves. We get it. I understand that happens. But we're talking about Kyle Schwarber, who can hit the ball out of any ballpark, right? If he gets a hold of it, it's gone, right? It's like he's going to do damage. But that's the point, though, right? You can survive that. I mean, this is the thing I've been saying the entire season, all season long. You can survive a guy like Kyle Schwarber hitting a solo home run. Maybe, all right, the game is tight. It's in the 8th inning. He hit a 2-run home run. If he hits a solo home run in that spot right there, game is tied. Right? So, it's just one of those things where it's like you can survive success when the bases are empty, right? You can survive a Bryce Harper home run if the bases are empty. Perfect example. Edwin Diaz gave up a home run to Bryce Harper in a game that he got the save. But it was a meaningless run. Same thing with the Juan Soto home run this afternoon. Gave up a meaningless home run to Juan Soto, and it didn't do damage. It didn't hurt the team. It didn't break the team. It didn't, it didn't start a comeback win for the Nationals. None of that. It didn't start any of that for the Nationals. And so when you have that, there's nothing to be upset when you can limit the damage. That's what limiting the damage is. It's what I've been saying this whole entire time. If you limit the damage, you could be successful. Perfect example. If you face the Yankees and let's say Aaron Judge hits a solo home run, but then you come back and you score 3 on him. That's limiting. Listen, you limit the damage. He got his solo home run, but nobody else did nothing. Right? So it's one of those things where, okay, if you give it up, tip your cap, move on. Right? Much like today's home run. I'm not mad that he gave up the home run. That's a 101 mile an hour fastball, up, which generally is where you want, if Soto's going to strike out, it's kind of in that area, right? Because he has a very good low swing. So you want to get him either up and in or something away, right? More like a changeup down and away or something that's just really going to, but it's tough because this is a guy that it's tough to strike a guy like that out because he's very, very good, has a really good eye. So Juan Soto, you're barely going to get him out, even when he's struggling, which he has been. But look, series against the Mets, he hits, 2 home runs. Yesterday, he hit a 2-run home run. That did damage. We could have limited that damage because it was only a 2-run home run, right? It didn't have to, get out of hand in that fashion. But they kept scoring, though. And that was the issue, right? And the only thing I wish was different was, right, because especially looking that Trevor Williams had a really good outing yesterday, it just makes me wish that we took McGill out and let Trevor Williams come in the bottom of the second instead of having McGill go back out there. And I know why you do that. I know why you let him go back out there and pitch. But instead of having him go back out there and pitch, listen, you rein it in, you talk to him like, listen, you didn't have it today. It's okay. It's all right. Right now we're trying to win this game. We're not going to let it get out of hand. So when they were up 5-3, you could have survived that if you would have just kept going. Nobody scored after that, right? Well, except the 3-run home run by Nelson Cruz, which is why I would have kind of accepted that from Trevor Williams rather than think. But I would not have accepted that at all. But I just wish it wasn't McGill who gave that up. But again, if everything goes perfect and, Max Scherzer doesn't have a shaky game or Bassett doesn't have a shaky game, McGill doesn't have a shaky game, Walker doesn't have a shaky game, David Peterson doesn't have a shaky game, whoever starts doesn't have a shaky game, nothing is ever perfect, then what happens when they do? They're not going to know what to do to get out of it. So now, right, in the words of Aaron Boone, make the adjustment. Now you make the adjustment. You go back out there like Taijuan Walker did today, like Carrasco did against the Braves. That's what you do. You go out there and you pitch your butt off. That's all you need to do. You go out there, you pitch your butt off. And that's what Carrasco did in his game against the Braves. Gave the Mets 8 strong innings, not allowing a run, was in trouble all day, but he got out of it. Taijuan Walker today, 7 strong innings, It was what it was. He looked like he was battling some injuries, but he gave 7 strong innings, got the win, player of the game. Right? So now, it's the same thing I expect from Miguel, right? Miguel had kind of a rough outing against San Francisco, came back, pitched well. These are the things that you want to just hopefully correct, make the adjustment, and you move on, right? Miguel's next start is against the Cardinals. Good, right? Let him start against the Cardinals at home. That's a team we need to beat. We're going to talk about the Mets schedule. We're going to talk about why I feel the Mets are the best team in baseball, even with yesterday's loss, because the Dodgers lost a series to the Pirates, and the Brewers lost 2 games to the Reds. So, right? So it's like it's going to happen, but good teams know how to bounce back. And, this team is a really, really, really good team. They know how to score, and they know how to bounce back. And Brandon Nimmo is an absolute star. I don't care what no one says. I understand his arm isn't the best. Hey, listen, Johnny Damon made a successful career, right? Had a successful career that had the best arm. So it is what it is, right? So those are the things that happened over this series. Now, I know last stream I said I'm going to hold J.D. Davis and Dominic Smith accountable. Because they haven't been performing well. Now, I understand, again, Keith mentioned it yesterday. He mentioned it, and, Gary Cohen's been mentioning it as well, that they haven't been playing consistently, and that kind of just is tough to create some consistency. I have to respectfully, and that's tough because Keith, one of the greatest first baseman of all time, if not the greatest first baseman of all time. Defensively, a genius. So, I would never say, oh, I know more than he does. Absolutely not. But I can respectfully disagree, because you look at Luis Guillorme. Though he struggled to start the season, he's picked it up. Got 2 hits yesterday. Didn't do that today, but he, when he's in there, he can contribute. And lately, he's done that, right? Same thing with Jankowski. The last game that he played, he started, he had success. And he's batting over 300. So, and even he understands. And the point that I'm trying to make is, like the great one always says, you got to know your role. And at the end of the day, we root for the name in the front, not the name in the back. And we've said that. And I've said that. And a lot of, smart Met fans understand that. You root for the name in the front, not the name in the back. Right? But you can root for a player to be successful. And I'm rooting for Dom Smith to be successful. I'm rooting for J.D. Davis to be successful. But the message is clear. And it was clearly sent when the Mets released Robinson Cano and the $40 million he's owed. He's owed. They sent a clear message that performance and team comes before player. And I can respect that because this is the position we're in now. We can't make the moves we made. We can't talk the way we talk, right? And say, well, it's okay. We'll get him next time, champ. I mean, we've been saying that for the last few years. And this is, if the team is different, right? It's what we've been saying. This team is different. If the team is different, then I believe that we gotta, we gotta keep that same energy, right? So we gotta adjust our expectations. So though we love Dom Smith, we love J.D. Davis, they're household names in the city for this team, and we love them. At the end of the day, Dom was going to be traded before the season started for two pitchers who are having success, though one of the pitchers might need Tommy John surgery. I don't know what's wrong with Chris Paddock, but there's an issue with him and his medicals and whatever his elbow is going on, right? As a partially torn UCL, so we don't know what's going on with that. But Emilio Pagano is doing well for the Twins. And the Mets wanted to make that move, right? If the Mets make that move, I get it, right? Still, I think they cut Robinson Cano if he doesn't perform. And I could say the same thing with Hosmer, right? But I think they weren't going to keep Hosmer. I think they were going to probably trade him. But I don't think that's what... It just didn't happen. Now, Hosmer's performing very well, hitting at a high clip, and Paddock and Emilio Pagan are doing good in Minnesota. So, but again, that's the message that the front office and ownership is sending to the team and to the fan base. So we gotta act like such, right? So that means, again, like I've been doing, is holding you accountable. And unfortunately, Dom Smith didn't answer that yesterday. And he needs to, for the betterment of him. Because, again, I understand he's a young guy. We want him to succeed, and I want him to succeed, and I don't want to just get rid of him for nothing, for no reason. But, and much like he said when they asked him about the trades, he mentioned every time, whatever role they want me in, whatever they want to do, I'm ready. I'm going to be ready. I don't see that. I don't see that at the plate. I see you swinging at pitches that you shouldn't be swinging at. At least if you're... I understand consistency with the bat is tough, especially when you're not playing enough. But there's something that I find in baseball that's that I feel is an unteachable quality. Now, you can learn, but I feel like it's an unteachable quality, and that's having a great eye at the plate. Not everybody in the major leagues has a great eye at the plate. It's like in the NBA, not everybody can shoot the three like Steph. Everybody wants to, but not everybody can, right? LeBron James is not going to be shooting the ball like Steph Curry. Steph Curry is not going to be shooting the ball like LeBron James. It just doesn't fit, right? Not everybody has the same talent. So, at his best, Dom Smith, we're talking about the 2020 season, condensed season, but that season, he showed he has a good eye at the plate, can put the ball in play, and can hit the gaps. Hasn't done that. Now, I understand in the beginning, the struggles, he was hitting the ball hard, and it was getting caught. Same thing happened to J.D. Davis the first day. And I wasn't mad, though, right? I wasn't mad. Had a sac fly, brought in a run, contributed, right? Had good at-bats. At least that I can accept, having a good at-bat. If it's an out, it's an out. That's part of the three true outcomes of baseball. Strikeout, line out, home run. Or walk, right? Well, three true out is strikeout, walk, and a base hit. But you get what I mean. So a line out, hard line out. Listen, the defense has to make a play. If they don't, it's an error. But you got on base, and that's the point, right? Getting on base and making things happen for the team, which is what Brandon Nimmo and Marte did yesterday, right? Nimmo got on, Marte dropped the bunt, error, Nimmo comes to score. That is exactly how you manufacture runs. It's how this team has been winning, right? You can say it's small ball. Yes, it is. But this team gets the timely hits. They hit with runners in scoring position, and they have a good eye. One of the best averages in the league. One of the best on base percentages in the league. The list goes on and on and on. The teachable, but I feel is unteachable, is the good eye at the plate. Not everybody has a good eye like Juan Soto, but as a team, this Mets team is very, very good at drawing walks, getting on base. They got to continue that. It has to go from 1 through 9 because the DH is in there now. I'm holding the catchers accountable as well. But it's different when you hold the catchers accountable because historically, yes, nowadays there are catchers who can hit very well and can produce with the bat. But if my catchers are calling a great game behind the plate and are doing things great defensively, then I understand it's half the work, but it's important. Because chemistry between pitcher and catcher is very, very important. And that's one thing I can say that the Mets catchers have with these pitchers is chemistry. So you're not going to ruin that, right? You're not going to just ship them off because they're not hitting. There's components to this. It's different with catchers. But Eduardo Escobar snapped his 0 for 20 yesterday at the end of the game. In the 9th inning, got a base hit finally. But he has to continue hitting. Had a day off today, has to continue hitting. So into this series against Seattle, Eduardo Escobar is my player to watch because I am holding him accountable. I am holding Eduardo Escobar accountable for his performance because, again, the point is, as a team, we play together, we win together. So I held Francisco Lindor accountable. He showed up, though it's been up and down, right? Then I held J.D. Davis accountable. He had good at bats. He drove in a sac fly. It was good hit off the bat, but none of them fell in for hits. But you love the fact that he battled and he had good at bats. You want that. I respect that, right? Dom Smith didn't. He didn't have any good at bats, and that's not good. Now, for this upcoming series, Eduardo Escobar, I am holding him the most accountable, but still, J.D. Davis and Dom Smith are also being held accountable because, again, consistency is key. Winning the series is key. We're going to face two tough lefties in this next series, so I'm, more looking at J.D. Davis because I feel like he's going to get the majority of the gameplay, especially tomorrow's game and Sunday's game. So, again, holding these guys accountable for that. Another thing I want to talk about is the Yankees, right? It's crazy because I don't want to talk about the Yankees. But the reason why I want to talk about the Yankees is because, right, Yankee fans I hate the Yankee fans. I hate Yankee fans with a passion. I really, 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 really do. I do not like them. It's not the reason why I don't like the Yankees 100%, but I do not like Yankee fans at all, period. But though, that's just not all Yankee fans, because the majority of my family Yankee fans. But, you guys know who you are. Those Yankee fans are the ones I'm talking about. So everybody in this city, New York City, has been comparing the Yankees and the Mets because they're off to a great start. To me, they're two of the top 3 teams in baseball, along with the Dodgers. The Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers are the best teams in baseball. I think the Yankees are the best team in the whole American League right now. And, you give credit what credit is due. It's as simple as that. You give credit what credit is due. But at the same time, right? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, like Yankee fans who want to panic for every single little thing are spoiled brats. That all the Yankees were just this horrible team that blah, blah, blah. They're supposed to be garbage right now. I'm mad because the Yankees are good and they should be good. Do I want the Yankees to be good? Hell no. I don't care about the Yankees. I want them to freaking fail at every opportunity they can. But, I mean, I know when real is real. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I'm not dumb. You guys aren't dumb. Baseball fans are smart. Some are dumb. But the smart baseball fans understand, that, again, like years in the years past, right? It wasn't the case in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. They got better, but they weren't good. 2017, things changed for them. As a team, 2017, things changed for them, right? You want to say it was cheating? You want to say it wasn't cheating? I don't know. But the point is, things changed for them. So you got to look at that for what it is. And over these last few years, the Yankees have won 90-plus games every single year since 2017. Look up the numbers. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And like I said before, I expected them, and I expect them this year to win another 90-plus games. But that's not the issue. The issue is it enough? And will it get them to where they want to be? And they've shown this year so far that they are good. But we're not going to sit here and pretend like what we see isn't what we see. So, to start off the year, the Yankees faced the Red Sox, right? They were rained out on the 7th, but they played the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. The Red Sox beat them 2 of 3. Yankee fans were mad. They faced the Blue Jays. They split that series. They go to Baltimore. They lose that series. The Yankees had a bad week and a half. Since that bad week and a half, they beat the Tigers, won that series, beat the Guardians, won that series, beat the Orioles, won that series, swept the Royals, won that series, and then took 2 of 3 against the Blue Jays before losing that last game, breaking their streak. And then they beat the Rangers. They take that series. Though they didn't smash the Rangers. So, they won one game in the 9th inning, Gleyber Torres. And they won another game, 1-0. They lost 4-2 to the Rangers in that second game of the doubleheader. But they beat the Blue Jays these last 2 games. And now we're going to talk about what the Yankees face next. They're going to face a White Sox team that has tons of injuries. Tons and tons of injuries. Right? So, the White Sox, are they going to wake up against the Yankees? Yes, they're going to bring it against the Yankees. I mean, if you're playing the Yankees, you're going to try to play your best baseball. So, I don't doubt that. But it's a series that I believe the Yankees should win. Then they got 4 against the Orioles. Right? So, they got 4 against the White Sox, 4 against the Orioles, 3 against the White Sox, 3 against the Orioles. So, they play the same 2 teams twice. Before they face the Rays and the Angels, which I think is going to be the toughest games of the season for the Yankees, right? Because the games that they lost in the first week and a half of the season, those weren't the toughest games that they had to face. But they'll face the Angels, which are the second best team in the American League. So they have that to deal with. They face Tampa, who's always beat the Yankees. They got the Tigers, who I think they'll beat. The Twins, who are a good team, missing their star shortstop. And they also have the Cubs before facing Tampa. The end of June is going to be a little bit tough for the Yankees, except that series against Oakland. But they got Tampa, Blue Jays, Tampa, Astros, the A's, and then they finished the month against Houston, right? They got one game there, rescheduled game. So the Yankees are one of the best teams in baseball. You got to win, right? Just because you face teams that aren't good doesn't mean you win. Doesn't give you an automatic win, which is why I said the Mets series against the Nationals was important. Which is why you don't sleep on teams. The Pirates took a series from the Dodgers. Are the Dodgers trash? No. Everybody has them as the best team in baseball. They just lost a series to the Pirates. The Mets haven't lost a series all year. So you can take that for what it's worth. The Mets, on the other hand, they have been facing good teams, except, I get it, the Nationals aren't a good team, but they won that series, right? They won the game that they won the games that they're supposed to win, right? And the more series you win, the better you are. But still, again, baseball fans aren't stupid. Baseball fans aren't dumb. Right? They faced the Nationals to start the season. They won 3, lost 1. Phillies took 2 of 3. Diamondbacks took 2 of 3. The Giants, they go ahead. They take 2 of 3. No, 3 of 4 from the Giants. Then they take 2 of 3 against the D-backs. They take 2 of 3 against the Cardinals. They take 2 of 3 against the Phillies at home. They split the series against the Braves. And then they took 2 of 3 against the Phillies on the road. Right? They could have swept that, if Major League Baseball fixed the baseballs. And then they just took 2 of 3 from the Nationals again. They go ahead and they face the Mariners. That's another team that's struggling, so that's fine. But they got the Cardinals, they got the Rockies, they got the Giants, then they got the Phillies again, and then they got the Nationals at home to finish the month of May. June, on the other hand, not nice. June is, the Mets have probably the toughest schedule in June. And this is, for me, where my heart is going to just be with this team. If they survive this month of June, right? And we're talking about split with the Dodgers, take the series from the Padres, take the series from the Angels, take the series from the Brewers, at minimum split with the Marlins, which I think they should beat the Marlins, but baseball. Take that series or either split that 2-game series with the Astros, take the series from the Marlins, and then we got 2 against the Astros again. Very, very difficult task. But if this Mets team survives the month of June with a winning record, I'm putting it on the record right now. The Mets survive June, they are the World Series favorites, in my opinion. Said it, there it is. The Mets would be the World Series favorites if they survive the month of June with a winning record. Meaning, if they go ahead and they lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if they lose 10 games out of all the games they have in June, that has them winning 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 and 10 in the month of June is fine by me. If they have less than 10 losses in the month of June and they have more than 14 wins in the month of June, I'm saying it right now, the Mets are a World Series favorite. Period. Period. And I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the year. We're talking about that is the toughest time that the Mets are going to have in this whole entire season. That schedule is ridiculous. Tough. Very difficult. If they come out of that surviving, no doubt about it, World Series favorites. In my eyes, World Series favorites. Hands down. But we'll see, right? We'll see. It's good that both New York teams are doing well. It's good for the city, you know? A good water cooler talk, right? Get to talk trash with your friends, talk trash with your family. It's a fun time. It's a fun time to be in this city that, you know, hasn't walked the Canyon of Heroes since 2011. You know, we're talking about 11 years here, right? I mean, we want some success. We want to go ahead and we want to experience that fun, whether it be Yankees or Mets, you know. But I'm sure New York fans want to hit the Canyon of Heroes, throw a big party, celebrate, get drunk, go crazy, make babies, all of that stuff. Feel me? Like, New York is starving for a championship. And I honestly believe that one of these two baseball teams is going to deliver. It's just, it has to, right? If they face each other, it'll be probably one of the most electric series. If you've seen last year, that 3-game series in September was electric. A Subway Series in October is going to be downright insane in this city. And you know what? Sign me up. If the Mets are going to win a championship, the first championship in maybe 35 years or whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to put a number, I don't know. If the Mets are going to win a championship, first one since 86, and if they have to beat the Yankees to get it, sign me up. Sign me up for that today, because there probably wouldn't be a better victory other than maybe, you know, beating, you know, Atlanta or Philly in the NLCS. But I'm not even going to speak that into the existence. No way, no how. I don't want to speak that into any kind of existence, you know. But they did expand playoffs, and, you know, anything can happen, right? Please, for the love of God, I do not want the Marlins to win a wild card spot. Anyways, it's fantastic. You gotta love it, right? I hate them, but you gotta respect them. As competitors, as a team, you gotta respect them. As much as I hate them, from the bottom of my soul, I hate them, but you gotta respect them. You gotta respect who they are as a franchise, and you gotta want to win. And honestly, during the regular season, we've had their numbers for the last couple of years. We want to continue that success, right? So, yes, sign me up for that Subway Series all day long. Looking at the road ahead, we already explained the schedule. We got 3 against Seattle. We're gonna face some of the best pitchers in their staff, but we got Scherzer, Bassett, and Carrasco going that series, in that order. And then we have, you already know, we have McGill, and then if Taijuan Walker is okay and, he's not injured, then he'll face the Cardinals Tuesday. If they keep the same, if they want to bring in David Peterson, I don't know, because they're playing a lot of games in a row. So, and that's a getaway series because they go to the West Coast on Friday the 20th. So I could definitely see David Peterson pitching the 19th. So I don't know how they want to do that. And, I kind of want Scherzer, Bassett, and Carrasco to face the Giants. If you ask me, I would just love to have them on the mound in those 3 games. But however it shakes up, I have confidence in our team. We have, I think it's Michael Gonzalez versus I think it's Michael Gonzalez versus Max Scherzer, blackout, tomorrow. Mets are wearing their black uniforms. So tomorrow is, I don't know if his name is Michael Gonzalez or Marco. Marco Gonzalez. Marco Gonzalez so far this year is 1-4 with a 3.91 ERA in 6 games. Struck out 17, a 1.62 WHIP, 25 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts. His last 3 games have all been losses. Again, 2 against Tampa, 1 against Houston. He gave up 6 hits, 8 hits, and his last start. No, lies. That wasn't his last start. The first start against Tampa, he did good. But he only pitched 1 inning, though, so I don't know if he was hurt or not. I don't know what that's all about. But May 2nd, he faced Houston, went 6 innings, gave up 8 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, and a strikeout. On May 7th, he faced Tampa, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned, 4 walks, and a strikeout. So that is Marco Gonzalez, left-handed pitcher, who's solid, but been struggling. And he's taking the mound against Max Scherzer. And sign me up, Max Scherzer, against the Mariners lineup who's not performing very well. Yeah, give me that all day long. Chris Bassett on the Saturday game, 7-10 game, he is facing George Kirby. Chris Bassett is facing New York native George Kirby, who has pitched 1 game, struck out 7 in that game, was against Tampa. 4 hits, no runs allowed, right? Didn't walk anybody. So that is going to be a tough game. I'm going to tell you why. A pitcher the Mets never seen is a pitcher who's good, throws over 100. Listen, I ain't even going to start. Every time the Mets face a pitcher they haven't seen, it's strikeouts galore. So if you're a betting man, I'm betting the over 5.5, if it's even 5.5 for George Kirby and strikeouts. So take that to the bank and cash it in. On Sunday, Robbie Ray faces Carlos Carrasco. Robbie Ray is not the Robbie Ray from last year, but I mean the Robbie Ray from last year wasn't the Robbie Ray we've always seen, right? I know that's tough to say all in one sentence, but Robbie is 3-3 with a 4.22 ERA with 41 strikeouts. I'm trying to look at his last performances here. So his last 3 outings, April 30th against Miami, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. Tampa, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Against Philly, 2 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts in 5 2/3. So Robbie Ray is good, not trash by any stretch of the imagination. This is actually a guy that the Mets would have picked up, thought about picking up, but didn't pick him up because he had a draft pick attached to him if they signed him. So they weren't trying to do that at all. Don't blame them there for that. So that is the series ahead for the Mets. Again, much like this national series, I'm going to say it. You cannot take this team lightly. You can't sit here and pretend like, yeah, we're going to cakewalk this and we're going to sweep the Mariners. I would love to sweep the Mariners. I'm not going to go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to bet my house that they're going to sweep the Mariners. I'm not doing that. Not at all. This is baseball. Anything can happen. with that being said, this is a team that we should beat. And when you face teams that you should beat, you got to take at least 2 of 3 in that series. So, predictions. Again, I'm holding Escobar accountable. I think he'll come through. Also, I think Max Scherzer will have a good performance. I think Carrasco will have a good performance. Bassett will have a good performance, but I think it's going to be a tight game. But I don't know. It can go either way. So toss up on the Saturday game. So I'm not going to give a prediction on that one, but if I had to pick a game that they'll probably lose, would be that one. Not saying Chris Bassett will get the loss. He won't. But anything can happen. So Max is going to get the win. I believe, I would say if I had to predict, Friday's a win, Saturday's a loss, Sunday's a win. Mets win that series, their 10th series of the season that they won. I hope I'm wrong and they sweep all 3. I do not hope that I'm wrong and they lose 2 of 3. I hope that doesn't happen. Because if it does, it'll be disappointing. It's not going to be the end of the world, but I do not want that. I do not want that. The Mariners just lost the series to the Phillies. We should be capable of beating them. This is a team that is playing very well. This is a team that's been beating good teams. That should continue. They're very, very well managed. That should continue. Pete Alonso, I see him continuing with his hot bat. I see Jeff McNeil continuing with his hot bat. And hopefully Lindor will heat up a little bit more because it's starting to get hot in New York now. So hopefully some good success for the teams, for the Mets this weekend. Blackout tomorrow, so that's dope. Mets are wearing the black uniforms. So the last time they wore the black unis, no hitter. So let's see if the black unis are, good luck charm this year, and we win some games with those black unis. We won the first one. Hopefully we win the next one. So that's all we got for that. On Monday, we're gonna be recapping this Mariners series. And then we're gonna preview the Mets and the Cardinals, which is gonna be electric. Especially after what happened with the benches clearing and Pete Alonso getting dragged to the ground. And I think there's gonna be some very hostile moments in this series. But you know what? I love it. It's baseball. I want the Mets to come in there with an attitude like they're not gonna take shit from nobody, and I want them to win. So that's on Monday. That's what we're going to talk about Monday. Talk about whatever happened in this series. And that's all we got. You already know, when it comes to the Mets, it's always, always, always for life. Ain't nothing else to it, man. You already know. I'm your host, Rompe. This is Mets Life. And let's go Mets.
Tyke Bison is undefeated.